That's what you get. Oh well. Here we go.
Are you just trying to navigate adulthood in a world that still expects you to have it all figured out? Welcome to This is 50 with your host, Travis Holmes.
It started with a hamburger. Yes, I know. Every show, something happens to me, something weird, something unique, something happens to me. And this week, it sent me to, I know. Hold on. Before I get ahead of myself, it is Saturday. Normally I do the show on Friday, but it started with a hamburger. And this hamburger, who knows, sent me to the ER. Yeah. 53 years on this planet. I've been to doctors. I've been to, dentist offices. I've had minor surgeries. I've had piercings all over my face. I've had all this stuff. So in and out of, medical institutions, mental and physical of some sort. I have never myself been admitted into an ER. And I did. That's why we're doing the show on Saturday. Obviously, I did not die, as you can tell. Or did I? Who knows? This show comes out. I could be dead at the end of this. Who knows? I'll get into that in just one sec. That's your teaser. Welcome to This is 50. This is 50 is my mental health show. My name is Travis Holmes. I've been doing this since I turned 50. Right before I turned 50, I'm 53 now, so this show is rolling into its fourth year of doing the show. It's a mental health show. I do this strictly for me. I don't do it for anyone else. I do this to get a lot of stuff off my chest, and believe me, God almighty, believe me, this helps me so much to sit here and scream into this microphone and tell you people about what's going on in my head, because it helps me work things out. I can say stuff to my wife, and I love my wife to death. We've been married for coming up on 12 years here this March. Coming up, thank you. Mazel tov to everyone. We've been married for coming up on 12 years, and we're going on a European vacation. But if I was to say all this stuff to her, I don't think she's got so much on her plate. She wouldn't know how to handle all the stuff. She already knows I'm weird. Let's put it that way. She already knows that I am a special person. If I was to sit there and tell her all the stuff that goes on in my head and all the things that are going on and all this stuff, blah, 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 we would fight. Not fight like physical fight, but just fight like back and forth. Well, you shouldn't be this way. Well, you shouldn't be this way. That type deal. So this show helps me out a lot, and I hope it helps a lot of you people out there. And it does, because I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of response on the videos. I get a lot of response on the YouTube channel. At This is 50 on YouTube. I get a lot of responses on the TikTok feeds, on our Facebook feed. So you guys are welcome to join in on all that. But this is just my outlet as far as, I'm not right or wrong, but this is just my outlet. But you guys know that, because you guys have been here for a long time. Guys and gals. I got to make sure I say that. Guys and gals. If you're looking at us here in the studio, this is our second show. I know. It's late in the day. Believe me. My wife was using AI today. Oh, God. What a hurdle I had to jump over to get, or for both of us to jump over that hurdle together. It's like being in a three-leg running race, whatever they talk about, and then jumping over hurdles at the same time. Jesus, you got to pull one along, or anyways. It was not a disaster, but it's the first time my wife ever used AI. So if you're looking at us here in the studio, the lighting's a little changed, the camera angles are a little changed. Hope everyone enjoys it. So back to my wife using AI. Her company now that she works for has an AI generator type thing, and she's never really used AI before. And we're in the middle of redoing our bathroom. And I said, you know what? This is great. We can do all this using AI, generate pictures and what it would look like and all that stuff. And then we can search for the best options and, put everything in ChatGPT. And this is way before I went into the ER room. So today, my wife and I said, let's do the AI thing and do our bathroom. She's like, okay, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Screw Wendy's and their Baconator. So we did, and I said, babe, just to let you know, you have to talk to ChatGPT like it's a 5-year-old. She's like, well, what do you mean? I said, you will find out as soon as we get started, and you can see how it responds to your inputs. And she hung up on all the, I don't know all the prompts. There's no real prompts. I mean, there are prompts and stuff, but it's kind of like trial and error. You just kind of put stuff in and type it in and all that stuff. And I told you at last episode that if it wasn't for ChatGPT, none of this stuff in this studio right now would be hooked up because I've switched over to a new computer system. So I let my wife sit in the driver's chair. And that's the seat I'm sitting in right now if you're watching this on YouTube. And over across the desk, I do another show with a bunch of different people. And there's another desk over there and another monitor and stuff where everyone can see what's going on the main monitor. They can all see it at the same time on the other monitor. So I sat over there and and it kind of guided her through all this stuff. I don't want to say that she had a hard time doing it, but she just, like everything she was typing, she was like correcting her spelling. I want to say this. I want to say, I'm like, babe, just put it in there, let it go and let it go. It'll figure it out. It's that smart. So we did that for about 3 hours. But it was more like picking out tile and picking out, the floor and the measurements and all that stuff. And she's like going, well, what's the square footage of the bathroom? And she's got her calculator out. I go, babe, just put it in the ChatGPT. Tell him or her. She always referred it to as her, which is unique to me. And I always referred it to as a him, like I'm talking to a guy. And she referred to it as like she was talking to a girl. And I caught myself in the middle of the conversation and stuff. I said, tell it, him, whatever you want to label it, that you want to do this. So she's typing it in, and she puts a square footage or puts all the measurements in, and it spits out the square footage. I said, now take the link of the tile that we're getting and say how many boxes of this tile that we need. And so, really? I don't have to do it. I said, yeah, just put it in there. So she puts it in there, and it spits out how many boxes of tile and, the best place to buy it and yada. So my wife had a crash course on ChatGPT. She did very well. What was overwhelming to her, and I understand her predicament, and this show's not designed to like bash my wife at all or anything like that. I said, I'll never do that to you. What she was having an issue with was, well, why can't I do this all on my own? Because it took me an hour and a half to figure out what I could have done in 30 minutes. And I said, I understand that, babe. But this is the world we're living in. I said, but do you understand how this right here, I'm doing this like circular motion, like this world that we live in, how the ChatGPT has benefited me in setting up this whole computer system and stuff. She's like, oh yeah, I understand completely, because the feedback and everything that I was getting from this, I appreciated that. And she was reading everything. She's like, but I gotta go. She's like, I literally do not have time to sit here and retrain my brain to teach this machine, this AI, who's 5 years old. I mean, literally, you have to talk to it like it's 5 years old, to do something that I can do within, what took us an hour and a half, me 30 minutes to do. Not that she's any smarter and stuff. She knows exactly what she wants to do and, click, and all that stuff. What triggered me, and the way I was seeing her mentality as far as like working with ChatGPT, is that we asked ChatGPT to put up like 5 different links to something we were looking for. And she would click on one and then, no, that's not it. Click on one. No, that's not it. And I'm like, well, babe, slow down. I said, read what ChatGPT is telling you. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm sitting there reading, and literally it said, you can choose these two, or these three would be better. And she missed all that. And I was like, I said, this is, got to slow down a little bit. Got to slow down. And she literally said, with my job and everything like that, I can't slow down. I know exactly what I want to do. This system, this machine, this search engine, the ChatGPT, it's slowing me down in my mind of getting things done. And I go, I understand that. I understand it. Your job is, this. And then when we calmed down and relaxed and said, we're just doing the bathroom, babe. We're just doing the bathroom. We're just getting the measurements. We're just picking out tile. We're just picking out what looks good and what doesn't look good. I said, this is all we're doing. Don't approach this as if it's a work task. If it was a work task, I understand completely. You want to go, 100 mile an hour this way because you know exactly what needs to be done. This is someone new coming into your office. This is someone new. You got to slow down. And she's like, I understand it. I understand it now completely. And now in her mind, she was like going, I wonder how I can use this to my advantage to help me progress out my workload at work. She's like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll try to do it because I can see the benefits from it, is what she said. She's like, I can actually see the benefits of using this ChatGPT, whatever they have. They got a certain thing that they use on their platform and stuff, compared to what you're using it here. She's like, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Tip your waitress. Try the roast beef. That type of stuff. But no. She understood it. It was just a brand new thing. And I'm kind of dragging on here, but I'll explain a little bit how in detailed the same thing I was getting as far as in my lifetime where like times were changing. And the reason why I bring this up, the times are changing. My mom, before she passed away, R.I.P. This month, actually, would be 4 years she passed away. I'm not looking for sympathy. Shut the fuck up. But I remember my mom in her position in the late 90s was... She was very successful in her career. She was the assistant to the general manager who ran a big hotel. And her job was to learn all the ins and outs as far as like computers and stuff like that. But they didn't have computers. So the computer wave came through and my mom had to learn Word for the first time. Had to learn Excel for the first time. She had to learn all the Microsoft stuff. She had to figure out, not to be simple-minded, but how to turn on the computer and sign into the internet and sign up. Her job at the time took that shift. And I remember my mom coming home crying because these new girls, these younger people are coming in and they already know it like right out of college and stuff. And they look to my mom for like support and help and stuff, but not computer wise. And they would help my mom. You see movies, I don't know how to type. And, the younger girl would come over and help, whatever type. My mom was in that same situation. So I don't want to say that my wife is in that same situation with, this whole branch of ChatGPT coming in and how it's helping the workforce and stuff. But it is kind of the same, this new wave of technology that's coming through. That you feel overwhelmed. You've done stuff for so long in a certain way that this new technology comes in and you feel intimidated. You feel intimidated. And you have to embrace it. My mom went through the same thing. She would come home and bring those big 3-ring binders home and she would sit there in the dining room and read how to open a Word book or Word and make an Excel spreadsheet and all that stuff. That was all still new in the 90s. So I think my wife was a little overwhelmed as far as what the ChatGPT could do. And I was, it's okay. Everything's good. Everything's fine. I know I rambled on a little bit. I didn't die, by the way. I didn't die. And I say I didn't die when I came back from the ER room. I didn't die. But I got good news. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I got a lot more to talk about. We're here on Saturday. The Olympics and all that stuff is going on. So stick around. I'll be right back. I got a text message from my landscape guy in Florida. Now, if you're just catching up with the show, my wife and I had a place in Volusia County. We were trying to sell it, and in the process of selling it, you need to keep the lawn mowed and all that stuff. And I found a guy that could mow the lawn and do it on a regular basis, and he would send me pictures, and I would send him a check, physical check, like hard-written check. Send it down, and he's like, "Oh, I got your check, Mr. Holmes," Spanish guy. "I got your check, Mr. Holmes. I got your check. And he would deposit it. So we sold the house in early January, I think. I don't know. I forget. Time is just a concept, right? I got a text from him this past week. And he sends me pictures of the check that we sent him, the last check, and like two other people's checks in the picture. And he goes, "Hey, Mr. Holmes," his English is broken, so I don't know if he speaks into his phone and it translates it, and the phone spits out whatever he translates, and sometimes maybe the verbiage and stuff is different. The translation I got was, "Hey, I found these checks in my couch. They were lost. I'm getting ready to deposit them now. I just want you to know." And I go, "All right, that's fine." I said, it's 180 days, lifespan on a check before it goes void and stuff. You got plenty of time. He goes, "Well, I just want you to know." I go, "Okay." And just to let you know that I'm not cheating you, he's so worried about, displeasing someone. Here's the other two checks of clients that I had that I found in the same couch. I guess couch. I don't know if that translates. Whatever couch in Spanish. Found in the couch. Maybe it's jeans, pantalones, that type deal. Just to prove that I haven't cashed these two also. And I'm like, whoa. Wait a minute. I don't mind you sending me a picture of the check that I sent you with everything on top of it and stuff. You can see where I'm going with this. Now I've got two other clients that you have with their checks and their routing numbers, their account numbers, and all that stuff on it. I said, look, bud, man, you cannot, you cannot do this, man. I said, first of all, when someone writes you a check for, in Florida, we have a lot of pool guys, we have a lot of landscapers, tree trimmers and all that stuff. You write a physical check, you put it in there. If they fuck up, you can go, void that check or whatever like that. Times are changing. I know. Everyone's got Zelle. You can pay them right then and there. We do a lot of Zelle up here with our farm animals and stuff. When the farrier comes out and we have, vets come out and all that stuff, everything's Zelle or whatever, digital payment that they have. But there's some people in this business, hands-on labor stuff that still take physical checks. And he's sending me this thing that's got my check with my routing number, my accounts on it, and two other checks next to it in one picture. And I go, "Man, you can't." I said, how many people did you send this picture to? No, Mr. Holmes, this is the first one we sent. I didn't send. I said, "Do you understand what I'm talking about? You've sent this to me, and I've got your other two clients' routing numbers and account numbers. You can't do that." "Oh, no, I didn't know, and he's a driver for FedEx. He's a, parcel delivery guy, part-time, and then, he does the landscaping and stuff. No. You're the only one that I said, do I need to cancel this check? No, you're the only one I sent this check to or the picture to. And I'm worried. I told my wife, do we need to cancel this check? Which check is it? And I said, it's check, 59991. So she looks and she's like, no, it's not cashed in. I said, okay. So I told, let's say Miguel, just because it's an easy Spanish name to say. Miguel, you cannot do that, man. I said, first of all, one, when someone who writes you a check, they're already trying to get their checkbook and everything in balance. And if you got a $70 or $100 or whatever floating in the wings, they want to cash that out and continue on with their checkbook balance and stuff, like a account ledger and stuff. When you hold on to this for more than a week, week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, that's way too long. You've got to cash these checks right away, so that your clients know that, hey, look, you're legit, everything's good. But you lost them a month and a half later. I'm looking at my fake watch here in my hand if you're watching this here on YouTube. A month and a half later, you're now saying I'm cashing this check? You got to be more responsible. Yeah, I'm Mr. Holmes. No, I didn't send the picture to no one else. Right. So I told my babe, told my wife, my babe wife, hey, keep an eye on that, all right? She's like, yeah, no problem. My dad and I, yeah, he's still around. He's doing good. He's doing better. He's doing a lot better. He's getting around a little bit more, getting down a little bit more. I had to go had to do a hay run for the horses here on the property. And a hay run consists of me driving 30 miles one direction. If you've been listening to the show for any length of time, it's an hour and a half round trip. Going out, grabbing, 15, 16 bales of hay, driving back home, unloading it, blah, 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 blah. Why can't you get any hay around where you live? Let me tell you something. Where we live at, we broadcast try to broadcast every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. Today we're doing it on Saturday because I was in the ER all day yesterday. Don't worry, I'll get into that. You're going to be like, I told you. We sit on, 22 some odd acres here. We've got a not chicken farm. We have chicken farms around us and stuff. Not a whole lot of horses around us. Jesus Christ. Get it together, Trev. Not a whole lot of horses, like show horses and stuff. So you got to drive a little bit further to get the better hay. So we drove into Waxhaw, picked up, I think, 15 bales of hay in the back of my Chevy Silverado 2500 series high country. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, I got an hour and a half drive. Do you want to go with me? Huh? Yeah, well, I'll go with you. And then we'll stop for lunch. Yeah, all right. I'll buy for lunch. I'll go with you. Anything to get my dad out of the house. So we jump in the car and we drive, and it's literally like 2-lane country road. There's nothing going on. It's just me and him. And he's like, I remember when, do you remember the time? And the stories haven't started repeating yet, but they're starting to repeat. And we get the hay and throw the hay in the back. And he's like, oh, I hope they have a bathroom when we get there. I'm like, oh, no, Dad. They don't have a bathroom. What? No, we're right here, Dad. There's a bathroom back over there. Oh, my God. Thank you. So he goes out and gets the bathroom. Everyone loads up the hay on the back of the truck, and we take back off. All right, Dad, on the way back, lunch, my treat. Where do you want to go? You want to go to Iron Thunder? Well, we've been there so many times. I'm like, yeah, but where Iron Thunder's at, this biker bar, and it's a big, huge place. It's not like a one stand-all place. It's got like 4 locations. Look it up. Great food. Great food. It's close in vicinity as far as where we actually live. I don't mind sitting there at the bar, having 4 draft beers, and getting in the vehicle and driving home. I feel safe. It's within my safety boundaries and stuff. Oh, I don't know. There's not too much on that menu I like anymore. He's tried about 5 things on there, and he's like, all right, I'm done with it. He goes, is there anywhere else we can go? So I'm like, yeah, on the way back, there's this place called Southern Roots, It's kind of like maybe 2 or 3 miles outside of my safety zone. You know, my safety zone. And, but they got good food. He goes, let's go there. Let's go there. I said, okay, fine. So as we're coming back, we're coming up on Southern Routes, and I turn into the parking lot. Now, I turn into the parking lot. The way Southern Routes is set up, you ever seen like a place that's got like 5 points? You know what a 5 points is? Where like 5 streets come into one traffic light, and then like this lane can go, and then this lane can go, and no one knows what the fuck's going on. It's in that split, that pie wedge of a 5 points. And it's pretty big establishment. It's like big building and stuff. So I pull into the parking lot for Southern Routes. And he goes, oh, there's a spot right there in the front. It's a handicap. What my dad doesn't see is on the right-hand side of the vehicle. He's looking at the left-hand side, you know, the building itself. There are 5 Marshville police officer vehicles, Durangos, sitting in the parking lot because they're inside eating. I go, Dad, I can't park here. No. If you park as long as I'm with you, you can park in a handicap. And he's so worried about parking in the handicap spot and getting out. He's like, no, it's legal for you. I'm in the car with you and stuff. And I'm like, Dad, you don't understand. I'm not going in this building, and me and you, with a truck bed full of hay, we stick out like a sore thumb in this neighborhood, and go in there and suck down 5 or 6 beers between the 2 of us. Got a little mouse in my pocket. Coming back out, getting in my vehicle, and then driving home. What? And he spins around and he looks at the Marshville Durangos. He spent too much money on these vehicles for this area. But anyways, he goes, oh, I understand. I go, you ready to go to Iron Thunder? He goes, yeah, let's go. Trav, I don't blame you. You're being smart. Not like I was when I was your age and blah, blah, blah. I go, my age? Dad, I'm 53. When you were 53, I was, how old was I? 22, 23? Were you still dumb at that age? You know, the age difference between us is not that much. So I just thought it was funny. He was so worried about the handicap spot. So when we got to Iron Thunder, I'll get into that story when we go back. And then the trip that my wife went on she went on a business trip to Dallas. Big company business trip, you know, all that stuff. So I'll dive into those stories. And, you know, I thought in my mind, worst case scenario, if it's going to happen, a plane crash, it would happen here. And I'll dive into that when we come back. So stick around. I'll be right back. So everything's running good. When I say running good, the new computer system's all set up. It's running good. I got one more show to get through to make sure that everything's running 100% tip-top shape with this new setup that I have. Now, you can follow us on Facebook. This is 50 on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube at This is 50 Show on Facebook or YouTube. This is our second show with the new setup. I think it's doing well. You tell me. You can let us know at any time. I did the Deacon Live show is back up and running. We did our first show this past Wednesday. If you want a little bit more as far as like news and entertainment and local events that are going on for the last week or so, and they're like kind of, some are silly, some are funny and stuff like that. If you want a little bit more of a relaxed feel for a show, I don't know. Are we serious here on this show? I try not to be, but the Deacon Live show, we did our first show this season or this year for 2026, and it turned out good. A lot of news articles that we use, and there's a lot of visual concepts and stuff, so it went well. The last staple, the last hurdle that I have to do to achieve is the horse show, which starts back up this Monday. This Monday, February 9th. If you're into horses or anything about horses, it's a very entertaining show. It's kind of like, everything that you wanted to learn about horses, but didn't know that you needed to know about horses. We do that every Monday at 9 a.m. So that starts up this Monday. So that'll be our last test as far as, getting this whole studio. Make it official, hit the champagne bottle on the front door or something like that. So it'll be interesting. But those are the shows that I do out of this studio. It's a full-time job. So if you enjoy this show and you want to enjoy the other shows, please follow us and do all that stuff. I got that done. Back to work on Monday. So my wife has a very important job. Very important job. No, I'm serious. She's the one that runs her division here in the Charlotte area. I'll fix that. Get a haircut soon. In the Charlotte, North Carolina area. But her job is, she's got team members and stuff all over the United States, and they have branches all over the United States and stuff like that. This is their first year that they had, or the first meeting. They have like a big executive meeting this year, and they had it in Dallas. Now, just to refresh your memory, for the last 2 weeks, we've been dealing with ice storms and snow and ice snowstorms to put it all and smash it all together here in the Charlotte area. And my wife was worried about, flying out or even getting to the airport to get on the flight and then, launch and take off and then land somewhere else in Texas. And I said to myself, oh God, you never hear about a plane crash in like Orlando. That's where I'm from. Born and raised in Orlando. You never hear about a plane crash in Orlando. You never hear about a plane crash in like Miami. And I know I hate to say this, but it's always these international hubs, Charlotte being one, Dallas being one. I know Orlando's an international hub, but you never hear about a plane crash because there's nothing going to go wrong with the tarmac there. Charlotte, maybe a little ice, maybe a little snow. Dallas, they don't get a whole lot of snow. They don't get a whole lot of ice, but maybe this is the one time that it does. And I thought to myself, and, I'm sitting there praying, First of all, when my wife left, she had to drive through somewhat icy roads to get to the airport after the ice and snowstorm. So when she got to the airport, she texted me, I made it to the airport. Sweet. Park your car. Don't walk everywhere else, wherever you have to go. She gets on the flight, flies into the future because they're an hour and a half behind us or something like that. She flies into the future, lands in Dallas, and I'm thinking, please land in Dallas. Please land. Not just land. Land. All 16 tires or whatever it is on the runway. They stop. She gets out. She can get her bags and stuff. Hey, I'm in Dallas. Sweet. While she was there, a small little snowstorm came back through. And I'm like, oh, shit. I always put in my mind the whole final destination thing. Well, she or me or whoever missed this one. Death missed us here. I don't want it to happen here. I know this is very, but this is the stuff that goes on my head. This is why I talk about this stuff in my show. So she gets on the flight from Dallas, coming back home. I'm like, sweet. And I said, I hope, they clear the runway. And she's like, ha, why would you say that? I'm like, babe, I don't know. Just putting it out there. They clear the runway. And then she's like, I see that there's snow in Charlotte. Yeah. I hope the runway's clear when you land. So she flies and takes off and lands and everything. Everything's good. But I panic about those little things because you never know. God damn it, you never know what's going to happen. And I'd be damned, if something happens to my wife, I'd be lost. I'd be completely lost. And I say lost like, I wouldn't know I would know what to do, but emotionally I would be lost. I would. But every time she takes a flight, no matter what, especially now with all the winter and the snow and stuff, I'd be lost. And then she comes back from Dallas. She lands in Charlotte and she brings home hamburgers, and I end up in the ER room. So, and I'll get into that. I'm just dragging you along, because, yeah, that was I don't want to say it was a good time. It was fun to a certain point, and I'll dive in that here in just one sec. Being in an ER is never fun, but it was an experience for me, which I will relate to you. Where are we at on time? I'm at that point in the show. Where are we at on time? Oh, we got plenty of time. Lots to talk about. I am done with raising chickens on our property. I'm sorry. There's no more benefits for me. There's no more benefits for the household. Well, Travis, the eggs are, $4 a dozen. Yeah, I don't care. I honestly, I've switched my diet. I don't want to eat eggs all day long. The only reason why I was eating eggs all day long is because we had eggs all day long. For a bag of feed, you ready for this? For a bag of feed and a bag of scratch, 50-pound bag of feed is $23. All right? Bag of scratch in the wintertime is like $16. We go through, depending on how many chickens we have, if we had 30 chickens or 40 chickens, a bag would last 5 days. We have lost so many chickens through foxes, through rogue animals where I'm out there blasting them with a freaking shotgun to keep them off our property and stuff. We're literally down to, I think, 8 chickens. Only because we don't re-up. We don't, every year you're supposed to buy, to re-up the flock and stuff. And we haven't for the last 2 years. And I'm at the point now where I'm like going, is this worth our time? For me to take one extra step out of my normal daily chores to clean the chicken houses. When I say clean the chicken houses, remove all the debris that's in there, all the shit, and put in new, and buy, the shavings. That's another charge that you have. And then put all this stuff in the chicken house and make sure they have enough food and make sure they have enough water for these 8 chickens to only lay 2 eggs a day. I'm done. I'm done with it. It's too much of a burden for the end result. Now, granted, yes, at one time we did have an LLC that was an agricultural LLC. Now the rules have changed now. It's not focused on poultry. It's focused on like equines and horses and stuff now. They're trying to do that here in Union County because a lot of people were taking advantage of it. I told you this is a chicken house mecca out here in Union County, but they're trying to bring in more horses. Maybe they're trying to change the landscape of Union County to be not a chicken house place, to bring in more people, because chicken houses, believe it or not, they stink. You can always tell when they're cleaning a chicken house, a major chicken house, big, long, like Tyson Farms and stuff around this area. Maybe Union County, the board is trying to change that around a little bit and get a little bit more equine. You know what? Equine here in Union County, you can buy up a lot of land real quick and put horses on it and be less smelly and still get taxes. You can still get a tax break a little bit more if you had equines on your property rather than chickens on your property. And I think that's the route that they're going. And I'm tired of going out there for 2 eggs a day for these 8 chickens and putting in food and cleaning the coops. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for us. So I'm at the point where I'm like going, let these chickens be chickens, and then let's be done with it. Let's be done with it and move on to something else. Let's focus our energy somewhere else. We're getting ready to go into a bathroom total remodel, and we're also getting ready to go to Europe. Now, We are. In the middle of March, we're getting ready to go on a flight to Europe. And one of the things my wife said was, don't you want to do like luxury, like big luxury economy seats and stuff like that? And I go, no, I don't. I want to be the basic seat or whatever. She's like, babe, you're going to be cramped and pigeon, and you're a big guy. Now, I don't want to say a big guy, but I'm a larger guy, says the guy in the ER room. Oh, you're a pretty big guy. You want a table for your legs? No, I'm fine. I'm 6'1", 6'2", depending on what 7-Eleven I'm walking out of. I used to be, at one time, before I started doing my 4-mile run jog thing, I maxed out about 296. If you're watching this here on this camera angle right now, ooh, I can switch back to it. I have slimmed down. I don't know what my weight is right now, but it's not 296. So here we are in February, and I posted something on my Facebook, my personal Facebook page. And you're welcome to follow me on my personal Facebook page at Travis Holmes. Not the basketball player, the white guy. Look for him. And I told myself, here we are in February. It is chicken, broccoli, grilled chicken, fried chicken. I don't care. Whatever, just chicken breast and broccoli or salad. Chicken breast and greens. As my wife right now is making some kind of lemon blueberry cheesecake for the Super Bowl party. But still, I told myself, I've got to get down another 15 pounds. And the reason being is because I want to sit in the cheap seats. And I don't want to be fat and fucking bloated and falling over. I want to be comfortable. And if I could lose another 15 pounds, I think I will be fine sitting in those smaller seats. Now, I saw some flights and stuff of people doing like overseas flights on the big planes and stuff. Those seats aren't on top of, like, here in the United States, they're not on top of each other. You know, where your knees are hitting, slamming up against the tray table in front of you, because they don't care. You're only on the plane for like 2 hours. 2 hours, max 3 hours. The longer flights, yes, there's a little bit more leg room and stuff. We're talking about a 9-hour flight. There's no way that they're going to slam people ass, knees, tray table in those seats. They're going to give you a little bit more leg room. And the more weight that I lose, the more room I have in front of me. It's going to be fine. I keep telling myself, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. If I can get down, and I think that's a good goal to have in general, to drop another 15 pounds so I can fit in not that I'm going to spill over, but, to fit and be comfortable on this ride and life in general, So it's broccoli and chicken all day long, Monday through Friday. Meanwhile, the Super Bowl is coming up. She's like, what do you want? I go, chicken wings. I want this. I want that. She's like, I'll make a lemon blueberry cheesecake. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm still running, though. Still running. I'm going to take a quick little break. Let's see. Do you want me to get into it? Yeah, it's the last hour of the show. I'll get into what happened to me, what sent me to the ER, because that's what everyone wants, right? That's what you want? I'll get into it. I know it's late in the evening, so I'll dive into that. So stick around. I'll be right back. So my dad and I went to Iron Thunder, sorry. And when we sat down at the bar, there was no cops around, thank God. He said, I want a certain sandwich. I said, okay, Dad, there's the menu. And it's a single menu. It's a big laminated sheet, and you flip it over. And if you puke on it, they can just wipe it off and continue on about the day. He saw a sandwich called the Big Bacon. It's a BLT for the most part. And there's a $7.99 choice and a $13.99. He goes, I want the big one. I got to go take a piss. You know, because we went all the way from the hay place, hour and a half back to Iron Thunder, and he's got to pee again. You know, his water pills and stuff. So he goes away. So I place the order. I go, my dad would like the big bacon. How would he like that? I said, well, you know, he wants the big one. He wants onion rings. Make sure you fry them. Make sure they're not soggy. Make sure they're hot. Or he'll send them back. I swear to God, he'll send them back. And the girl behind the counter, she's seen me there a bunch of times. Oh, you're regular there? Yeah, I'm a regular there. And I'll say, I'll have the salad, house salad with a 8-ounce salmon on the side. Watching my weight, doing my thing. They bring out my dad's meal. And I'll post the picture. I got to make sure I put a note on here. Post on This Is 50 Facebook, the big bacon. It is literally, it says 15 pieces of bacon. And you're like going, oh, really? 15? Honestly, Shelly, 15 pieces of bacon? Is it going to be that much? No shit. There was like, on, you know, the regular toast bread that you get out of a loaf, you know, cut in half, pieces, if you're watching this here on the YouTube, this fucking thick, and it had maybe, I think there was lettuce on it somewhere, and there was like a piece of tomato on the bottom, but it was literally that much of bacon. My dad goes, holy shit! Dad, that's what you wanted? What'd you get? I said, I got a house salad and salmon. Something respectable, Dad. Something honorable, because I'm trying to get my big fat ass in those seats that go overseas on my flight. Oh, man, I can't. And he takes a bite of, you know, he can't even open it up. He's got to unhinge his jaw to eat this fucking half of the sandwich. And he eats half of it, and he goes, oh, I don't want any more. You can have the other half. I go, Dad, I'm eating my sensible meal. I'll bring it home and I'll use the rest of the, don't throw the bacon away. I'll use the bacon in something else I'll make. Cause I got in my mind, I'm like going, I'm going to make, you know, a salad with some chicken and stuff. And then maybe I'll take this bacon and chop it up and have like bacon crumbles on top of it. Thinking ahead, you know, reusing resources. Oh my God. So we get through all that. We get home. And the next day, my wife's flying in from Dallas, landing on the tarmac in Charlotte. And I'm like going, please don't skid off the runway. You know, I'm texting her. Don't skid off the runway. Let me know when you land. She lands. And I'm like, all right. Her flight landed at 7. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I'm already sitting in bed. I've already had my dinner and stuff. I'm watching the Magic game. And she's like, I'll be home in like 45 minutes by the time I get my bag and stuff. And I always, it's a joke that I always throw out there just to see if it sticks. You know, that type. Hey, if you don't mind, you know, do this. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm kidding. I don't really mean that. But if it's okay, you can do it. So I always say, make sure you bring like Burger King home or something like that. And I know Burger King's not around that area, but I'm like going, if you want to stop by Burger King on the way home, that's fine. You know, because the only time I'm allowed out of the house, I never get near a Burger King. She's like, I'll see what's going on and stuff. Now, I know that she's left Dallas at, her flight was like 4:20 in the morning or in the afternoon. Or sorry, not that early in the morning. 4:20. Now she's flying back to the future and landing in Charlotte, and the time change and stuff, it's a 2-hour flight. She landed at 7:30, gets off her flight, gets her bags and stuff, and there's like a Wendy's or something close by. So she pulled, I didn't know this at the time. So she pulled in there, got herself something to eat, and grabbed me something too when she got home. So she gets home, and I'm like, yeah, mommy's home. You know, it's like 8:30 at night. Mommy's home. And we all clap and stuff, and the cats come out because they know that mommy's home and stuff. I know it's a cute little song and dance we do. So the kids know. The kitty kids know. She's like, I got you something. And she's holding up the Wendy's bag. I go, oh, you got the Baconator? She's like, yeah. And I got me something and my drink and my fries and stuff. I go, oh, give me. She's like, hold on. I said, I'm sorry. Let me help you get your bags out, ma'am. Let me help you get all your stuff out. I know you've had a, long, stressful 3 days in Dallas and all that stuff. And she has. She just wants to get home. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So get her all set up and, get all her luggage in the house. And she sits down and she's like, okay, all right, here's your sandwich and here's my sandwich. And I unfold it and I go, oh, it's a Baconator and you got extra pickles. Oh, you love me. You got extra pickles and everything. I didn't even have to ask. You knew it. You so know me. You know me so much. I'm crying. Tears in the salty bacon to make the bacon more salty. And I'm like going, oh, I'm so glad you're home. You didn't skid off the runway and die, and I have to figure out all the stuff and later on in life. And I'm like, and I accept this award, whatever. And I was like, she's like, what are you talking about? I said, nothing, babe, nothing. Just things that go on in my head that I sit here and talk about on the show that you'll never hear. I'm glad you're home. And the plane landed safely on both ends. Took off safely, landed safely on both ends. She's like, how does your hamburger look? I go, it looks delicious. It's a Baconator. It looks delicious. So I take a bite of it. Oh, man, it's delicious. I take another bite. And then I, on the side, always do... I normally don't like to do ketchup, but I had to. I've been eating chicken and goddamn broccoli and chicken and lettuce and chicken whatever, chicken and a vegetable. And what's today? The 7th of February. I've been for the last literally 10 days, actually 10 days. I'm like, I know I just ate dinner, but I ate it at like 6 o'clock and this Baconator looks so good. I said, I'm eating it right now. In my mind, I'm like eating it. I'm going to eat it. So I do ketchup, mustard on the side, and then I, something I can dip the hamburger in. I eat it. I look at her. She's halfway through her meal. Guys eat faster. She's like, you eat the whole thing already? I go, yep, babe. I ate the whole thing. I said, are you going to finish yours? She's like, I'm so tired. I go, I know where this is going. I'm so tired. These fries suck. This hamburger's cold. I'm going to go take a couple more bites and you can have the rest. I'm like rubbing my hands like an evil. Yes, I'm going to get another hamburger. What'd you get, babe? Oh, she's like, I got the bacon classic. So it's a single hamburger, bacon, lettuce. Not like the big bacon my dad got at the whatever, but it's a bacon classic. And I go, yeah, I can pick all that stuff off. I just want the hamburger and the bacon. So here we are, 8:45 at night. And I'm eating this nitrates filled hamburgers and stuff. And I eat hers. She's like, here you go. Oh, babe, you love me so much. I love you. Thank God you didn't crash. And I'm eating the rest of the hamburger. And I'm sitting in I got a little chair on the side of the bed that I sit in. And I go, oh, I feel disgusting. She's like, you should be disgusted with yourself. I go, I am. I'm ready to go to bed. So I go to bed. Well, I get into bed. And I said, if you want to rub on my back or whatever. She's like, I will, because I'm going to be up for a while. Her brain can't shut off. She's like, I'll be up for a little bit and I'll watch a show or whatever. So as I'm going to sleep and she's laying next to me, of course she is. She's my wife. And she's rubbing my back and stuff. I drift off into dreamland. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but I woke up with a flashlight in my eye. And it freaked me out. And that's what sent me to the emergency room. And you're like, well, I can't stop there. No. I'll tell you exactly what happened with the flashlight in my eyes. So stick around. I'll be right back. I'm looking at the counter on the video. everything's going good. Everything looks good. Everything is flowing good on the video feed. We are going to eventually be doing this live. I don't know if we're going to do it on Twitch. I don't know if we're going to do the show live on Facebook or live on YouTube. We got a lot more followers over on YouTube, but there's some way that I can link the two. So this is the whole process of me getting this whole new computer system and new cameras and stuff. So we're going to be doing this live every Friday at, time TBD, to be determined or something like that. And that's the whole process of getting this whole setup ready to go. So I ate my big cheeseburger, my bacon deluxe or whatever, the Baconator. And my wife had a single bacon cheeseburger with lettuce and tomato. Threw those right on the wall. Let them stick to the wall. What are you doing? Nothing. Cats will eat it. And I eat the rest of her hamburger, the half that she had left, with bacon on it. And I get into this nitrates overload, and I fall asleep. I'm laying there. Now, my wife, I don't know about your wife or girlfriend or anyone that, if you're a female listening to this or male listening to this, one of the two like to pick, like popping pimples, squeezing stuff on you. It's like, therapy for them. So my wife likes to, if I'm on my right shoulder, she likes to pick on the left side of my shoulder all the time because I always face her away from her while I'm sleeping. Because I'm facing the door, I can protect her. That's what a man does. They sleep closest to the door. They can protect her or whoever from any intruders. There you go. There's the word I'm looking for. So because my wife just got home, I want to sleep on the other side facing her and put my arm around her because I missed her. Oh, I know. It's so sweet. In the process of me sleeping on my left-hand side and putting my arm around her, she kind of moved away a little bit, so my arm kind of dropped down, but I'm still facing her. So she starts picking on the right side because she told me in the past that she never gets to my right side. She's like, I know you got gold over there. I know can you roll over so I can do the right side of your body? And I'm like going, okay, roll over. And what she does, here's where it started. What she does is she takes the flashlight on the back of her phone and puts it on, so she can see. And she's got those Dr. Pimple Popper tools, and she works on the right side of my body. And I'm laying there. I'm sleeping. Nitrate overload. I'm laying there. And she's popping and popping and popping. I don't know what happened in her mind. She said, I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure that you were sleeping. She takes the flashlight, and I'll pull up my flashlight right here on my phone. Everyone's texting me. When's the show coming out? Slow down. Here's the flashlight on my phone. Here you go. See it? I feel like, what's his name? Bo Burnham in this show. But she takes this and puts this flashlight, like this, right on my eye. If you're watching this here on YouTube, right on my eye. Boop. So I get this like this. No, I'm dead asleep. I'm in a bacon overload coma. And she puts it right on my eyes. And what the hell are you doing? She's like, I'm sorry. Just want to make sure you were asleep. I didn't want to bother you and everything like that. And I'm like, what? Okay. Well, I said, what time is it? She's like, it's 12:30. I said, babe, you got home at 8. And, okay. All right. Sorry, roll over. That's what lit the fuse. I was in total panic mode for whatever reason, and my heart would not stop racing. So I'm laying there, and on the right side of my body, away from her, and I can't sleep now. Why can't you sleep? I said, babe, I don't know. I can't sleep. So I'm laying there, and I'm going on my phone, and I'm like, all right, I need to reset my brain and, go through the whole mental and, go to sleep. I already taken my Advil PM for my knee and stuff. That's worn off by now. Melatonin's completely escaped my body because of this whole thing. So I'm laying there wide awake while I'm trying to reassess my situation and try to go back to sleep. If you're watching this here on YouTube, I'm trying to lay down right here. And it wouldn't stop. I could feel it here. All the, I always, am I dying? I always check my pulse all the time. Am I dying? No, I'm still good. I got a pulse. I'm not dead. But this time, I was feeling my pulse, and it was like, I'm like, oh, all right, well, what's the box breathing thing? If you watch the new Wonder Man thing, the new box breathing thing, inhale for 5, hold it for 5, exhale for 5, hold the exhale for 5, breathe in for 5. And I started doing that. My wife was like telling me that at the same time. She's like, oh, you should do this. I'm like, oh yeah, I know the box breathing. Hold on. I'll do it. 2 hours later, I'm like, my body, I'm laying down and my body, my heartbeat is so fast. It feels like someone's just slowly just shaking me just a little bit. And I'm like, so I said, hold on a minute. Something's not right. Something is not right. So I've got a Samsung watch. This show's going to be a little bit longer. I'm sorry. I thought I could get away with telling it in like one segment, but it's not. The whole ER thing. So I put the Amazon watch on my hand, click it on, sync it up with my phone and stuff. And it has a thing where it says, check your heart rate. 154. Oh, yeah. 154. 2:30 in the morning. 154 beats per minute. I'm like, this can't be right. This can't be. Laying down, relax. She's like, my wife was like, I'll rub your back. And that lasts for like 30 seconds, She's back asleep. That's fine. I don't rely on her for that. I mean, I appreciate the effort. An hour goes by. Hit it again. Register. 157. Shit. What do I do? 157 beats per minute? Is that good? Is that bad? That's high. It's 2:30 in the morning. By then, my body just completely collapsed. You're too long, too awake. Your body, it just gave out, and I fell asleep. I say I fell asleep. 2:30 was the last time I looked at the clock. 5:30 is when I looked at it again. So obviously in that 2 hour time, I was asleep or doing something. I woke up 5:30 only because my wife's alarm goes off to go for her training. She has to, wake up, get on, get dressed and stuff and drive out to where she trains horses or where she rides her horses and stuff. So 5:30 goes off and normally it doesn't wake me up, but this time it did. And so I sit on the edge of the bed. And I have my watch on. Again, 158. She's like, you okay? I'm like, I said, I don't know, babe. It's still high. Really? It's still high? I'm like, yeah. I said, let me go to the bathroom. Let me do all this, relax and splash water on my face. And I'm doing my pulse on my neck and stuff. She's like, all right, well, I'm going to go. I got to go ride and stuff. She's like, keep me informed if anything happens. Yeah, no problem. She leaves. I try to lay back in bed. Nada. Nothing. I laid there, toss and turn, closed my eyes. Now, it felt like an anxiety attack. I had no heart. They say chest pains or anything like that. Your left arm, your left arm is not numb. My jaw's not hurting. So I knew it wasn't a heart attack, but there was something not right with me. Now, what I didn't tell you was at 2:30 before I fell asleep, I asked my wife, I said, I forgot to take my anxiety medicine. Can you, if you're up and stuff, can you run out there? She was going to the bathroom or whatever. I said, can you run out there and grab my anxiety medicine. I didn't take it tonight. So she gets it and I took it, and that's probably what knocked me out for the 2 hours I was asleep. Woke up the next morning, and got dressed, went down, fed the horses, threw hay, walked back up. I was really, it was nice and cold out, so I felt good. Like that cold, crisp, after a snowstorm, the air is nice and fresh. It's nice and crisp. I'm breathing it in, and I'm like going, you know what? I feel good. And I check my thing on the side of my neck. I'm like going, God, my heart's still fucking racing. It's 8 o'clock in the morning still. So I said, let me go inside and I'll make breakfast, and I make my little breakfast and stuff, and I eat it, and I'm sitting there playing video games until my wife comes home, because I wasn't going to do my run. And when she came home, she's like, how are you? I go, I'm not good. So when I come back, I know this is going to be a little bit longer episode. Maybe I can split it up in 2 spots, but we'll see. If you're hanging on this long, it gets more interesting when we come back. So stick around. I'll be right back. Let me see if I can give you the 5-cent tour on the remainder of what happened. I know, I appreciate you guys. If you listen this far into the show, I really do appreciate you. I really do. Like I said, I do this for my therapy, my mental health, and hopefully it'll help someone out there in the same sense. So my wife is coming home from her lesson, her horse riding lesson, the next day, Friday morning. She comes home, or she's on her way home about, she usually gets home about 10 o'clock. She calls me about 9:30 and says, how you feeling? How you doing? I said, well, the heart rate is still up. And I got my little Samsung watch on. She's like, tell me what it reads. I go, it's still 154. She's like, okay. And she's giving me every reason in the world to go to the ER. I said, babe, I agree with you. We need to go to the ER. She's like, I know you hate to go, and all this stuff. I said, no, I'm not arguing with you. I need to go to the ER. I just want you to have some kind of, real look on, we're going to be there for a long time. She's like, no. Because of your heart rate and stuff, they're going to get you right in there. I said, okay, cool. Bonus for me, right? So in the process of waiting for my wife to get home, because it's, like I said, it's an hour and a half drive or 45 minutes. Sometimes I embellish a little bit. It's a 45-minute drive from her training facility to the house. So I went out in the kitchen, and my dad's doing something, putting dishes away. I said, Dad, Amy's coming home. She's going to take me to the ER. Oh, really? What's going on? I said, I can't get my heart rate down. There's something wrong. He goes, hold on one sec. Let's take your blood pressure and stuff. Because he went through all this whole entire thing with my mom. So he brings out this rusty arm pressure, or the pressure machine, blood pressure machine. It's got like holes popped in it. He's taped it and stuff. And I go, Dad, how old is this thing? Oh, I've had it since your mom, but the cat's chewed the cords a couple times. I'm like, Jesus. So we put it on there, and it's like, it doesn't register. I'm like, Dad, this is not working. Then he's got one of those little oxygen things that you put on your finger, and he puts it on my finger, and it says my oxygen level is around 96, but my heart rate is at 80. And I go, is this right, Dad? He goes, oh, man, I don't know. He takes it off, licks it, and sticks it back on my finger. Oxygen level 96, heart rate 85. I'm like, Dad, that's not 140 or 154 anymore. I said, what time is it? And I look at the clock, it's 10:22. Now, I took my second dose, my morning dose of my anxiety medicine at 9:30. I said, it usually takes about an hour for it to kick in. And I said, we're right at that threshold as far as it kicking in. So maybe it's worked. Maybe my blood pressure my heart rate has gone down. So I check my watch. Sure enough, 72. Heart rate, 72. I'm like, I feel good. I don't have anxiety. I'm not sweating or anything. So I'm back and forth. My dad's trying to find another heart rate monitor or something like that. By the time we get through all that, my wife comes home. She's like, are you ready to go? I go, babe, my heart rate and this. She's like, yeah, but it's gone up to this and it's gone up to that. She's like, can you just go for me? I said, yes, babe. I just want you to know I'm not dying right now. You don't have to carry me anywhere. We go to the ER. We sign in within 5 minutes. Now, granted, we were probably the only people in there. Friday afternoon at 10:30, 11 o'clock in this podunk town that we live in. Got right in. They put all the stickers on me, checked my EKG, all that stuff. Then they moved me to this room, and then finally I got a room, or a whatever triage room, where they pull the curtains and they do all the stuff. Doctor comes in, explained everything to her. They hooked me up to the machine, and my blood pressure for the first time in my life, and I say this, when I say life, 30 years of being an adult. I'm 53, so 30 years from 23 to now. I look at my blood pressure up on the machine, and it says 117/80. I said, I've never had that before. I look at my heart rate monitor or heart rate, and I'm floating around 75 to 92, 75, 92, anywhere in between there. It's a stressful situation. Everything's, expected, right? Told the nurse all my stuff, or not nurse, the doctor, the RN, PA, she's a PA. Doctor assistant. I don't know. Fucking letters, all right? So I'm laying in the bed. I'm sitting there for the most part. And then they go, well, we need you to lay down for this. They bring in a rotating portable chest x-ray thing. They x-ray my chest. She goes away. And then I've got, his name is True. True. White guy. Jock guy. He's got a mask on. And he's chewing gum underneath his mask. Hey, my name's True. Like California surfer guy. I'm going to hook you up to my machine over here, and we can get your EKG readings and all the stuff. I'm going to put these stickers on you and stuff. You mind lifting up your shirt? And I lift it up, and he's like, oh, all right, man. And we put these stickers on. He's like, you ever had a PICC line before, or IV? I said, yeah, on the trip, on the boat trip and stuff, I had a PICC line and all that stuff. He's like, well, you should be used to this. So he ties off my arm. My right arm, he sticks it in there, and he's like, oh, dude, I can't find it. And he pulls it out. And he's not, like, nonchalant. Like, normally, you're going to feel a little prick. He's like, you're going to feel a little poke. And he's poking, and he's poking. If you're watching this on a YouTube video, he's poking like this. He's poking and then, like, spearfishing. He's looking around for it. He's like, pulls it out, and he's like, oh, I couldn't find it on that side. All right, dude, I'm going to go on the other side. Are you okay with that? Shaka bra. And then he does the right-hand side, and he's got to put the elastic band around my my left arm, and he's going to poke in there. And he's poking in there, and he goes, dude, I got it. The whole entire time, my brain's going, he's going to put a bubble in me somewhere. My whole entire time, my brain was like going, he's going to pop a bubble in there. I'm going to have an aneurysm. I'm going to fucking die. And the reason why I tell you that is because while he's poking the thing in there, he's like, I got it, bro, got it. And he's strapping it up. And he's like, oh, man, your skin's really sweaty. And I go, yeah. I said, dude, I do not feel well right now. He goes, what do you mean, man? And I go, I feel like I'm going to black out. I'm going to black out. He goes, oh, it's a needle and blood thing. And he's looking at the monitor. Monitor's fine. Heart rate's fine. Everything's fine on the monitor. I fucking had I don't know what you call it, another attack where my wife goes, when he left, he goes, yeah, you were pale white. You were like deathly pale white. And my whole entire body was full of sweats. I said, that's never happened to me before. So he takes the blood. My wife and I are sitting there. We're waiting for all the results to come back. And in the process, someone comes in, registry, and, takes all our information. She leaves, and we sit there and we talk back and forth. And I'm just kind of exhausted by this point because I haven't slept the night before, and I'm laying there in this half makeshift bed, and the guy talking about being tall and stuff. He goes, "You don't fit in this bed. You need a one of those things in front of your feet to hold your feet up." I said, "No, dude, I'm fine. I'll just heels on thing, scrunch up in a fetal position. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just go away." "All right, if you need me, man, my name's True, True. Yeah, just like that. And I'll be out of here in just one sec." And he's got a mask on, and he's chewing gum, smacking. Go, beat it, True. So the results come back. Blood work, EKGs, X-rays. Madeline, who's our PA, physician assistant or whatever it is, she goes, "Blood work, completely normal, fine, even excellent," she said, "even excellent, across the board." She goes, "And we even dive a little bit further to look at your kidney enzymes and stuff. Kidneys are working fine, liver functions are fine, there's nothing high, in your body or anything like that." And then she said, even if your heart was stressed at a certain time, there's an enzyme that's released from the heart in the blood to let us know that your heart was under stress, like scarring or something like that. She's like, "That's clear. Everything's negative. Everything's good." She's like, "Your X-ray, everything looks good. Everything looks clear. Everything looks fine." Everything that they tested me for as far as, quote unquote, I hate to say a heart attack, everything was clear and fine. You are healthy. There's nothing to worry about. All your levels are perfectly normal. And since you've been in here, I think they brought us in around 11:30 and they released us by 2:00. All your levels are completely normal. I've been watching the machines. The machines are completely fine. Your heart rate's fine. Your blood pressure, thank God, is completely fine. I said, "Okay, so what do we do now? Is it because I missed that last pill? That one pill I didn't take?" I said, "I've missed pills before. I've missed taking my anxiety pill before, not thinking that I needed it. And it's Busprin, 5 milligrams. This has never happened before." She said, "Well, make sure you take it at night." She's like, "You take it twice a day?" "Yes, I take it once in the morning and once at night. Whether I need it or not, I take it." She's like, "Sometimes, depending on what you've eaten," Wendy's fucking double baconator hamburger, "and your lifestyle, sometimes the night one doesn't kick in. There's another another drug that you can take 30 minutes after taking your anxiety medicine at night that will kind of boost that a little bit. Now you're going to feel a little bit more sleepier, a little bit more drowsier. So we recommend that when it happens, you're in a place where you can do that." Okay, fine. Give me that. I said, "But we're getting ready to go to Europe." Throw some more ashes on this fire. "We're getting ready to go to Europe, and I can't get to see my doctor until after March 14th. First available date is, end of March. When we get back. Okay, here's 12 tablets. You don't have to take them every day. You take them as you need them." "Okay, I will." We bandage everything up. True comes in. "All right, bro, what's going on? I'm going to take your PICC line out." I said, "Do me a favor. Let's have a better situation for me blacking out from you putting it in for the first time." He's like, "Oh, no problem, man. This is simple. This is easy. The worst part is pulling off the tape." And he rips the tape off. And then, literally, no bedside manners at all. Rips it off, pulls the IV out, sticks a cotton ball on there. And he's literally, my arm in a sling. He's wrapping hitting the microphone, wrapping that tape that sticks to itself, and he's trying to rip it off on my arm, and he's pulling on my arm. I'm like, "Dude, put your teeth on it or cut it. Don't just..." So we get in the car. My wife goes, "Don't you ever do that to me again." I said, "What do you mean, do that to me again?" She's like, "I thought I was going to lose you." I said, "Babe, I was fine." I told you My BPMs were around 80 at the house. I know, but it was up and down. She's like, I don't want to lose you. I said, but I don't want to lose you either. The same, the thing I was thinking about you sliding off runways. I almost slid off a runway. She's like, where do you want to go for lunch? I said, let's go to Chick-fil-A. So we went to Chick-fil-A and had some Chick-fil-A sandwiches and then went about our day. I'm good. Today, being Saturday, the very next day, woke up and I even asked my wife, I said, hey, do you mind if I go for my run? She's like, go right ahead, babe. Help yourself. You're doing good. I'm proud of you. You're doing well. You're staying with it. You didn't die. I'm so happy for you. I'm going, okay, cool. So I did my run, came back. Everything's fine. We had a great time up here. We were doing the Chat GPT thing and all that stuff. So I'm alive again. But it was scary. I just couldn't get my heart rate down. So, all right, guys. I appreciate you listening to me work all this stuff out. I'll talk to you later. Okay. See you. Bye. Where the camera's at. There you go. All right. See you. Bye. 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 Bye.